For so many years, I could not be consistent with exercise. I'd try and I'd fail. I'd try and I'd fail. I'd make a little bit of progress and then something would knock me back down again to right where I started. This happened over and over again for years until one day I finally cracked the code for myself. I finally became consistent. I felt the changes in my body. I saw the changes in my body. But most importantly, I learned how to truly love exercise and make it a regular part of my life. So here's how I did it and how you can do it too. Hey, my name's Jillz, and I went from being a serious competitive athlete as a teenager, exercising over 20 hours a week at least, to kind of being a little bit lazy and a little bit of a potato once I hit my early 20s. I didn't know how to stay active and be fit and actually enjoy exercise once I reached adulthood. And I always found myself in this vicious cycle of starting and failing, and I kind of learned to associate exercise with stress and negativity and suffering. But now things have changed. I actually look forward to my workouts. I'm stronger and leaner than I've been in probably like 8 years, but most importantly, I feel good. And being an active person just feels easy to me. So if you want to start taking your fitness seriously and finally learn to be consistent with exercise and finally learn how to actually enjoy exercise, then this video is hopefully going to change everything for you. Also, a big thank you to Trainwell for sponsoring today's video. I can't wait to talk about them, but I'll get into that a little bit later. The reason why so many people try to start new habits and then fail and start new habits and then fail is because they're trying to force a behavior that doesn't actually align with the person they currently see themselves as. It doesn't align with their current identity. Let me explain. So let's say that one day you decide you want to stop being so out of shape. You want to be less sedentary and you want to be more active, more fit, more in shape, more looking good, more healthy, stronger. So you start forcing yourself to go to the gym. You might be going through the motions, showing up at the gym maybe 3 times a week, but deep down, you don't really see yourself as an active person. You see yourself as a sedentary person who's just trying to go to the gym more. You see yourself as a sedentary person who's trying to be more active. And this right here is the problem. There are 2 aspects to making change in your life. There's the behavior piece and the taking action, which is of course important, but there's also the identity piece. The person you see yourself as. To actually really make a change, and in this case, start working out and become an active person, you need to take the action and move your body, yes, but you also need to see yourself as an active person. You need to see yourself as a workout type of person before you actually are that person, before you're able to create the results that confirm that. And this is the secret. Behavior will almost always fall in line with identity. You will never become that person who exercises regularly and is super fit and super active and consistent with her workouts until you decide to see yourself as that person, until you let it become a part of your identity. For example, if you have 2 people and the first person sees herself as a Pilates princess, she is just that Pilates girl, and the other person is someone who's just trying to be a bit more active and lose a few pounds by going to some Pilates classes. Who do you think is gonna show up consistently to Pilates? The person who sees herself as a Pilates girl, the person who identifies as a Pilates princess because that's just who she is, and behavior naturally follows identity. Or if you have 2 people and the first person is a self-proclaimed walker, like she just walks all the time, she's always getting her steps in, that's who she is. And the other person is just trying to be a bit more active by walking more. When a lazy moment hits, who do you think is going to be the person that still takes themselves out on that evening walk? The person who identifies as a big walker. James Clear talks about this concept in his book Atomic Habits, and he uses a really great example. If you want to try to start running more, or if you want to run a marathon, he says the goal is not to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner. And this is the mindset shift you need to make in your fitness journey. When someone sees themselves as a runner, what do? They run. When someone sees themselves as a Pilates girl, what do? They go to Pilates. When someone sees themselves as a really big walker, what do? They walk a lot. When someone sees themselves as out of shape and not very active and kind of a couch potato, even though they want to change that, what do? Well, they're more likely to sit on the couch. They're more likely to exercise less. They're more likely to make it less of a priority. Why? because they still identify as being that sedentary person. Even though they want to change that, that's who they see themselves as. And behavior subconsciously follows identity. And this is the key thing that I realized. If I wanted to be an active, fit, strong, healthy person who was consistent with the gym and enjoyed moving her body, then I needed to alter my focus, because I was originally focused on the outcome of building strength, getting lean, getting fit. But instead, I needed to shift my focus on becoming the type of person who is fit, who is lean, who is healthy, who is active. It wasn't a new habit that I needed, it was a new identity that I needed. Because once you shift your identity, those habits and that behavior naturally aligns. It's not about trying to get the body you want. It's about becoming the person who already has the body you want. It's not about trying to get healthy. It's about becoming the person who already is the type of person internally who already is healthy. And this is what will create real, lasting, powerful change. So basically, I had to see myself as an active, fit, healthy person before I already was her. And this is where it started to get a little bit tricky for me. Because I was quite weak and sedentary initially, and because I had a lot of health issues in my early 20s, I couldn't just immediately hop into working out like an active, fit person would. When it comes to fitness, you can't just go from 0 to 100 overnight. Especially when you're starting from nothing like I was, it takes time to build up your body. And this is where I had a little bit of a dilemma, because I was trying to harness the identity of an active, fit person, but I couldn't actually 100% align with the actions of a healthy, fit, active person, because my body was just not there yet. And so this is where I realized that I needed to be a tad bit delusional to myself and instead see it differently. And I needed to reinforce that new identity in tiny little ways. Every time I went for a walk, even if it was like 5 minutes long, it doesn't matter. I'd think, oh, I'm so active. This is what a fit, healthy person does. Obviously, every time I did my workouts, even when they were quite short and quite simple, I'd think, oh, yes, I am just so active. This is what fit people do. I am an active person. I just did a workout. Every time I took the stairs instead of the elevator, I'm just so active. Every time I parked far away rather than parking right up close, oh my goodness, I am just so active. Look at me, I'm such a fit person. Every time I washed a bunch of dishes, oh my gosh, look at this arm workout I'm getting in. Wow, I am active, I am fit, I am healthy. When I was feeling super tired, every time that I decided to stretch for 10 minutes instead of just laying on the couch, I think, wow, I'm an active person. This is what fit people do. Because the thing is that you can't just like choose a new identity and that's that. That's actually only half of the equation. Yes, you can decide and choose a new identity, but then you have to prove to yourself that that identity is true. You have to reinforce it and solidify it through your actions. And for me, I had to reinforce it through small, tiny actions, small wins, because that's what my body was capable of at the time, and it worked. Deciding to see myself as an active, healthy, fit, in shape person made it so I saw those healthy habits like walking a lot and stretching and working out regularly as normal. That is the key. Once you shift your identity, that complementary action feels normal, and that is what you want. That is how you want to feel. You don't want to force yourself to go to the gym because you're trying to be consistent with this new habit. You go to the gym because that's just what you do. You go to the gym because that's your new version of normal. You go to the gym because that's the type of person you are. So stop overly focusing on the habits and become the type of person who already does those habits. And then prove to yourself that that is true. Prove to yourself that that is who you are, even if it's just in small, tiny ways, and watch your fitness journey change. Don't try to run more, become the runner. Don't try to go to Pilates more, become that Pilates girl. Don't try to walk more, become that person who walks 10,000 steps a day. If you change your identity and the way you see yourself, it will naturally, subconsciously shift your behavior and your actions, which will then create the results that you want. If you want to become fit, you must see yourself as a fit person before she even exists yet. When we're starting a new habit, but especially with working out, we're more likely to succeed in accomplishing that task when it's easier for us to accomplish. Kind of common sense, but this concept is actually really important, and it's called reducing the friction, aka lowering the barriers to completing that task. So let me explain. Part of the reason why I struggled so much to work out consistently is simply because I was unprepared for it, and it made accomplishing that task 10 times harder. And here's what I mean. I didn't know what days or times I was gonna work out. It was just like, oh, whenever I can fit it in. When it was time to work out, I still had to figure out what I was wearing. And then when I got to the gym, I didn't even know what type of workout I was gonna do. I just kind of like showed up and hoped I'd figure it out. I usually didn't even have playlists ready to go, so I still had to look for like 5 to 10 minutes finding a good playlist that I wanted to listen to. Now, none of these things are huge, and some of them are quite small, but they added up, and that lack of clarity and that lack of readiness that I had with my workouts made it so accomplishing that task was a lot harder. And it was much easier to be like, oh, whatever, I'll do it tomorrow. But everything changed once I decided to harness the identity of that active, fit person, and then also take it seriously and be prepared for it and reduce the friction. My workout clothes were already out, ready to go. My favorite workout playlists were already downloaded and ready to go on my phone. I had a few to choose from depending on my mood. And my workout routine, I finally followed a legit plan and schedule. I didn't have to think about anything. I just showed up at the gym and knew exactly what I was gonna do. All I had to do was follow it. And this was huge for me. This is when I started noticing serious changes in my overall fitness and in my body. I've actually been working out for a few months now with a virtual personal trainer through an app called Trainwell, and the benefits that I have seen have been huge. Even my husband commented on it, and some of my friends have noticed the difference in the way that I look. And so now with my trainer's guidance, I know exactly what to do once it's time to work out. So Trainwell is not just an app. You work with an actual human, an actual personal trainer. My trainer's name is Jill, actually, and she's the best. And so you have your own personal trainer who completely customizes workouts for you based off of your skill level, your goals, any injuries you have, your schedule, and whatever workout equipment you have access to. Everything is tailored specifically to you and is always changing and adapting to your needs. And it's super flexible because, again, you're working with an actual real personal trainer. And like, I talk to my trainer multiple times a week through the app. So I do want to talk about my fitness journey. So basically, to start it all off, I had an initial meeting with Jill, my trainer, and we just talked about like where I was at, what I was already doing with my workouts, what my goals were, the type of equipment that I had access to, if I had access to a gym. And we worked together to decide on a schedule that was right for me and the level that I was at. And we just got to know each other, and she's awesome. So anyway, she created a customized plan for me based off of where I was at and my goals. So on my designated workout days, I just showed up and pressed start workout. I didn't have to think about anything. Everything was already planned for me. All of the exercises are demonstrated in the app, and this significantly reduced the friction for me. And it was so much easier for me to just show up and do it. And if something felt too easy or too hard, I'd let her know and she'd adjust going forward. Or if I had a question about something, she answered it. The point is that it just made it easy. If you want to do something, the less friction there is to accomplishing that task, the more likely you're going to do it. So yes, Trainwell is sponsoring this video, but just being 100% honest with you guys, I legit have seen such an improvement in my fitness levels and my consistency. Jill helps keep me accountable, and I have not missed one workout since working with her, not one, which I am super proud of. And even my abs are starting to peek through a tiny bit. If fitness is your goal like it was for me, I totally recommend giving Trainwell a try. The first 100 people to sign up with my Trainwell link will get 14 days free plus $25 off on their first month. So the link for that is down in the description box. And keep in mind, with Trainwell, you get the benefit of a full-on real personal trainer, but for a fraction of the cost. So I hope you take advantage of it. So I realized that when I started to reduce the friction to my workouts and show up much more prepared, they were obviously a lot easier for me to accomplish. But not just that, I actually started enjoying them more too. And the more I did them, the more I look forward to them. So if you want to start finally being consistent with your exercise, actually prepare for it and reduce the friction. Think about what an active, fit, healthy person would do. They would not show up to their workouts unprepared. They would not just kind of find a time to fit it in. No, they would take it seriously. They would drink their water beforehand. They would get their pre-workout snack all ready to go and make sure that they have them for the week. They'd have their workout clothes ready to go. They'd have their workout plan ready to go and know exactly what kind of exercises they're gonna do. They'd have their playlist ready to go. So set your future self up for success and set her up for ease. Earlier on in my fitness journey, when I was kind of just trying and failing all the time, something that I would do that really hurt my progress was, because I wasn't working out that much and that consistently. When I did work out, I felt like I needed to push it. And it didn't feel like I had a good workout until I walked away feeling exhausted. And you know why this was so bad? It's because I started associating working out with feeling depleted. I would walk away from the workout feeling blah instead of energized. But if you want to finally love exercise and finally be consistent with it, you can't walk away feeling bad every time. You just can't. Leave the workout feeling good, both physically and mentally. And let me clarify what I mean by this. Okay, so leave the workout feeling physically good, meaning don't push yourself to absolute exhaustion. You want to leave the workout feeling better than when you started. Now, it doesn't mean that your muscles aren't going to be like tired and stuff, but you don't want to leave the workout feeling worse. You want to be at an elevated state. And if that means that your workouts are only 15 minutes to start, then that's the way that it is. The workouts that I do from my trainer have only ever been 30 minutes long max, because she wants me to walk away feeling good. And obviously I could go for like longer walks than that and stuff, but those workouts are more strength-based workouts. And I've noticed for myself, when I was, working out before I was working out with Jill, I would do my workouts and I would oftentimes have them be like 50 minutes long, 60 minutes long of like strength-based workouts. And it was too much for me. And I actually walked away just feeling like, I don't know, the next day I just felt like crap. Whereas if I keep my workouts, the ones that she assigns me, if they're like less than 30 minutes or less, then I feel good. And I feel like I actually benefit more, like my body benefits more from doing less. More is not always better. And so anyways, after every single workout, I tell her exactly how I feel. I tell her exactly how it went. And if it was ever like too intense or too much, I would just let her know and she would adjust. But you also need to leave the workout feeling mentally good. And here's what I mean. You need to feel like you just did your body good. You need to feel like you are proud of yourself. You need to feel like you just made progress on your goals. You need to feel good about what you just did, even if it's only a 15-minute long workout. The way you mentally feel about the workout you just had can greatly affect the results. So there was this study, and it's so interesting, and it actually validates experiences that I had. These researchers from Harvard, I think, were studying exercise and the role that mindset plays in all of it. And they were specifically studying hotel housekeepers. Now, housekeepers naturally have a more physically demanding job, right? They're on their feet all the time, they're walking around, they're picking things up, putting things down, they're vacuuming, they're scrubbing. There's a lot of physical activity involved in that job. Now, they split these housekeepers up into two different groups. The first group was informed about how much physical activity they were doing each day and how their physical activity actually satisfies the government's exercise recommendations. And then they showed examples of how their work was beneficial for their fitness and for their health. And in the second group, they didn't tell them anything. And then they followed up with these two groups after 4 weeks. Now keep in mind that during these 4 weeks, it was self-reported that their exercise levels and their activity levels in general didn't really change. Now the second group of housekeepers where they didn't tell them anything, nothing changed. They stayed the same. But here's what's crazy. The first group of housekeepers who learned about how beneficial their work was for their exercise and how much good they were doing, after 4 weeks, they actually showed a decrease in weight, blood pressure, waist to hip ratio, body fat, and body mass index. Their activity levels did not change, but their perception of their activity changed. And it actually resulted in positive changes in their body. Because they thought they were doing their body more good, they actually did. And I accidentally realized this for myself too, especially when I was trying to validate that new identity of being more active and fit. When I finished any sort of exercise or physical activity, whether it was a real full workout or whether it was a 5-minute walk around the block, when I felt proud of what I did, when I felt like, oh my gosh, yes, I am an active person. When I felt like I was doing my body good and what I was doing was good for my health, I actually saw better results. However, when I did workouts before and I felt like they weren't good enough or they weren't hard enough or they weren't long enough, or when I had this belief that what I was doing wasn't actually that beneficial, then I didn't get as good results. Your perception and your beliefs is everything. And if you choose to believe that you are doing your body good, you are more likely to do your body good. No matter what kind of exercise you do, when you walk away feeling good, both physically and mentally, when you feel good in your body and also proud of what you just did, proud of what you accomplished, you can actually experience better results. And what happens when you walk away from something feeling good? You want more of it. You enjoy it, and you're more likely to look forward to the next one. Now, when it comes to exercise, not everyone's going to like the same thing. And if you really want to learn how to enjoy exercise, you can't really ignore that fact. Some people love going to Pilates classes. Some people love playing tennis. Some people love hiking or long walks. Some people love running. Some people love yoga. Some people like group fitness classes. Some people like to work out completely alone. Some people love the environment of the gym. Some people don't. For me, I don't really love using those machines at the gym. I don't like those boot camp style classes. I don't like hiking. I hate going to yoga classes. I hate it when someone is breathing down over my shoulder the whole workout telling me what to do. But I love Pilates style workouts. I love lighter weight training type of workouts. I love long walks. I sometimes like jogging depending on where I'm at in my cycle. I love dancing. I love pickleball. And I like doing some workouts from home, and I like doing some of them at the gym. When I had my initial meeting with Jill, I was like, do I have to use those like machines at the gym? Cause I don't really like them. And she was like, no, of course you don't. If you don't like them, then you don't have to do them. And I was like, yay, okay, cool. And I told her that I liked doing some workouts at home sometimes. And she was like, okay, great. Then I'll make sure that at least most of your workouts can be done at home. So what I've been doing specifically and what I enjoy and what's gotten me results is Jill assigns me my workouts 3 times a week. And these are like my non-negotiable, I will never miss these workouts. And they tend to be more strength-based, like using free weights or more Pilates style types of workouts. And I either do them at home or I go to the gym that day. It just depends on like what I'm feeling. And then in between that, I'll do lots and lots of walking. Sometimes I will do jogging if I'm up for it. And then I'll also just like, you know, play pickleball with my friends here and there, or I'll go to a hip hop dance class sometimes just because it sounds fun. But that's it, nothing too crazy. And I have absolutely seen results in not only the way that I look, but more importantly, the way that I feel. But it would be a lot harder for me to continue that progress if I was doing exercises that I specifically disliked. And I think it's also important to work with people you enjoy too. Like if you go to studio classes and the instructors there are just like not very supportive and don't really give you the guidance you need, and the studio just doesn't have like the right vibe, the right energy, go find somewhere else. I think part of the reason why my fitness has improved and why I've been so consistent with it is because I just kind of like vibe with my trainer. Like she gets me and I enjoy working with her, but yet she's not breathing down my neck all the time and I get to do my workouts in peace, which is the way I like to do it. Now, I do want to say that if you give Trainwell a try, I really hit it off with my trainer right away. I love her. But you can switch your trainer at any time in the app if you don't think that it's the right fit for you. Also, what time do you like to work out? You know, some people love those morning workouts. Some people love those nighttime workouts. What do you like? What makes you happy? And this is what I love about the workout program I'm doing right now with Jill and with Trainwell, because I actually like to switch it up a lot. I really like evening workouts sometimes at the gym when like not really that many people are there. I also love working out at home sometimes during the middle of the day. Sometimes I'll randomly go in the morning, but I actually don't like following a structured routine every single day. Kind of like bores me. So I like to switch it up, and I love that I have the flexibility in that, and it helps me to enjoy it more. So find what you love. The type of workouts that feel more fun, the environments you feel good in, the time of day you like to work out, the type of people you like to work out with. Just because someone else gets great benefit from working out at 5 a.m. every morning doesn't mean that you will. Just because someone loves group fitness classes doesn't mean that you will, and doesn't mean that you need to. Just because your best friend loves to play basketball as her main form of exercise, it doesn't mean that you're going to get that same enjoyment and that same benefit. But there is something out there, so find what you like. Working out does not have to be your punishment. It can be your self-care. When you exercise, this is your 30 minutes or your 1 hour to just completely focus on yourself. You get to put on your headphones, blast your favorite music, you get to completely disassociate from everyone else, let go of all your stressors and problems, and just focus on you. And just focus on being present. It is one of the only times in the day that you get to do this. And once you start to see your workouts as your sacred me time, then you will never want to stop, because you will learn to cherish them. The reason why so many people hate exercise is because they see it as punishment or suffering. And if this is the case for you, and if that's how you see it, then you need to break that and realize that that is a chosen belief, and that that belief isn't helping you get what you want. You get to make this your time to completely zone out and get in your body. This is when you can blast the music and get in the zone. And if you want it to feel good, you have to kind of make it a vibe. I want you to try this. The next time you're thinking about skipping your workout, I want you to first put on your cutest workout set, the one that you feel the best in. And then I want you to put on your headphones and blast your favorite playlist. And I just want you to see how you feel and notice how it immediately shifts the energy and how you kind of feel ready to go. Now, another way to make your exercise more special and feel more like me time is, let's say one of your main forms of exercise is going for a long walk every single day. Let's say that you want to go for an hour-long walk outside every single day. Every time you go for a walk, that is the only time when you get to listen to your favorite podcast, that one that you're like so addicted to. And that way, every time that you go for a walk, you're like, yes, it's me time. Yes, I get to listen to this podcast. And you start associating it as fun rather than punishment. Another reason why people start and fail at their workout routines and why I failed so many times is because we don't actually account for changes in how we feel. And let me explain. For example, when we decide we're going to start a new workout routine, we usually decide this and we set this new goal and make this new proclamation that we're going to get fit when we are naturally higher in energy and motivation. And we're like, yeah, this is gonna be so great. We're gonna exercise 5 times a week and I'm gonna get so fit. But then we don't actually think about like, okay, but what am I gonna do on days when I'm really tired? What am I gonna do on days when I'm really burnt out? What am I gonna do on days when I have no motivation? What am I gonna do on days when I'm really busy? What am I gonna do when this energy and motivation fades? Because it will. If you expect yourself to always show up perfectly, then you will feel defeated and you will quit. You don't have to show up perfectly every day. You just have to show up. And this is why I love cycle syncing my workouts. I take into account where I'm at in my cycle and I adjust my expectations accordingly and I adjust my workouts accordingly. As women, we are not the same every day. Our hormones are changing throughout the month. This is how we experience life. Men don't experience this, but we do. And expecting yourself to be able to exercise the exact same way and perform the exact same way consistently throughout the month is actually kind of crazy. I cannot show up and exercise on the first day of my period in the same exact way that I can show up and exercise when I'm in my ovulatory phase, which is when we have that peak energy. You cannot put these expectations on yourself and it goes against nature. I learned to enjoy exercise more when I adjusted it to fit the different versions of me throughout my cycle. So I cycle sync my workouts, and I actually do this with my trainer too because she's familiar with cycle syncing as well. So if you actually look into my app, she actually creates different workouts for me based off of the 4 different phases of your menstrual cycle. So right now I'm in the follicular phase, which is like my personal favorite phase. So my workout is a follicular based workout. So because it's a follicular workout, it's going to be a little bit more fiery, a little bit spicier, whereas she knows like the week before my period in that luteal phase, that's when I tend to have the lowest energy. And so those workouts tend to look much different. They're a lot slower, a lot more gentle. So I tell her where I'm at in my cycle and she accounts for that. And I love it. If you want to learn more about cycle syncing, I do have old videos on the topic, but also be sure to check out the book In the Flow by Alyssa VT because it's incredible. It's life-changing. So to wrap it up, you are going to hate exercise if you always feel like you are falling short, if you don't feel like you are succeeding at your goal. We tend to get a lot of energy and motivation when we feel like we are doing well. So if we set ourselves up to feel bad and to like fall short of our goals, then we're less likely to enjoy it and we're less likely to accomplish it and we're less likely to be successful. So you need to account for changes in how you feel, not just with your cycle, but also sometimes we just have more stress in our lives than other times. Sometimes we get really good sleep, other times we don't. Sometimes we're full of energy, sometimes we're not. Sometimes we're full of motivation, sometimes we're not. And expecting yourself to show up amazing every single day and show up exactly the same every single day, you're setting yourself up to experience failure. Because it's impossible. Our energy and our motivation changes throughout the month. That's normal. Our fitness ability changes throughout the month because of our cycle. That's normal. You have to realize that variation is going to be a part of your fitness routine, whether you like it or not. When you start working out, it's normal to want to have some sort of aesthetic goals. Maybe you want to lose some weight or get a smaller waist or make your butt a little bit bigger. And those aesthetic goals are valid, and it's completely reasonable to want to look our best, or at least what we think is our best. But those aesthetic goals cannot be your only goals. There needs to be something else, a deeper why, a more important why that keeps you going. When your focus is only on aesthetics, this is what starts to happen. Every day you start body checking yourself. You start to overanalyze the way that you look. Every single day you stand in front of the mirror and look at yourself and you're like, oh, do I look any different? Or maybe you start to become obsessed with the numbers on the scale. You become so focused on getting the outcome you want instead of becoming the type of person who already has the outcome you want. Remember, identity work, right? And with that focus on aesthetic goals, you're likely to get disappointed and a little unmotivated, because the reality is that aesthetic changes can take time. And when your only goal revolves around the way your body looks, that can quickly turn unhealthy. My fitness goals when I was younger used to be more aesthetic goals. And when I had those goals, I would always fail and give up. But now my goals are different. Now it's not like I don't want to look my best. Those aesthetic goals are still there, but they are secondary to my deeper goals, my deeper whys. My biggest goal is longevity. I want to be that old woman who is just like so fit and can do everything and is still like playing pickleball with her friends and going for like these long walks and still has energy and strength and mobility. Like, that is who I want to be. And I don't want to wake up one day in like my 50s and be like, oh my God, what have I done? How have I let my body deteriorate like this? That would be my worst nightmare. Yes, I want to look good, but more than anything, I want to live a long time. If I have kids, I want to see them grow up. I want to feel strong and capable, and I want to continue to feel strong and capable as I get much, much older. I want to increase my strength, my endurance, my flexibility, my mobility, so I feel better in my body, and so I feel more capable and confident. When I had my first meeting with Jillz, she asked me my goals, and I was like, more than anything, my goal is longevity and mobility. I told her, like, of course I'd love to like tone up and kind of just tighten up everywhere, but more than anything, I wanted to get stronger and I wanted to be able to do more with my body. And so part of the reason why I've been so consistent with exercise now is because I have that deeper why. I refuse to be that person who can barely do a push-up. I refuse to be that person who can't run for more than 5 minutes without taking a walking break. I refuse to be that person who can't lift up a heavy box. That old me and that old identity was not up to the standards of the life that I wanted to live. You can have aesthetic goals. They are valid, but there needs to be something more. If you want to make progress on your fitness goals, definitely check out Trainwell. They used to be known as Copilot, by the way, just in case you've heard of them before with that name. They've helped me specifically get a little bit leaner in my midsection and have helped me just feel like stronger and better overall in my body. I feel like my posture is starting to improve a little bit, but most importantly, I've never been this consistent with exercise in my entire adult life, and that means more to me than anything. So Trainwell is just an incredible way to get that customization, that flexibility, and that accountability in your fitness journey, but for a fraction of the price of traditional personal training. And whether you're a total beginner or further along in your fitness journey, it doesn't matter. It may help you like it helped me. Again, the first 100 people to sign up with my Trainwell link, which is down below in the description box, or you can also use this QR code right here. That will get you 14 days free plus $25 off your first month. So be sure to check it out while you can. Honestly, I have more fitness tips and things that I have learned along the way on my fitness journey, but this video is getting kind of long, so I'm gonna end it here. If you would like a part 2, let me know. Maybe I can do that in the future. Thank you so much for watching and staying until the very end. I appreciate it. If you did stay until the very end, leave your favorite red emoji in the comments below so I know. Now, lastly, if you want to level up your fitness game, that takes discipline, and I highly recommend you check out this video, how to finally be more disciplined without destroying yourself, without losing your sanity, without losing those like soft life happy vibes. So highly recommend you check it out. I think you'll get a lot of value from it, and I'll see you over there, or I'll just see you next time in my next video. Bye.